Hello, and welcome back to episode 8 of the Mediterranean Meander. Last episode, we got sacked, which is obviously not ideal, some would say, but we're seeing how things work. Ideally, I think there's a team in Algeria that I applied for that I hope I hear back from. Which one was it? I can't necessarily remember, but I think it was one of the ones that may have been relegated. Um, Really, the only concern I have was it this team? Yeah, it was this team. This is one in Algeria that got relegated. The only concern I have is I want to go to I want to go to a team with a roster that's mostly full, even if it's not like or it's a high reputation where I could fill it up. So I feel if I go to a area like Algeria, like Libya, or even, I guess Serie D maybe even has a few good options there. All right. So, like, for example, this is a Serie D team in Venice, actually. So that's pretty cool. Their roster is not quite full. It's mostly people who don't get paid. So it'll probably not be a great experience. They have a lot of money. Seem to be mid-table ish, and they would be fine. They've won Serie D before a few years ago, so they've won it twice overall. They play in Venice, which is a pretty nice spot. They're in Italy. I speak some Italian apparently, so that's pretty good. But I don't know if they're necessarily the best team. I want one with a more solid roster, even if it's not full. Has a few players who are, give or take, solid choices or on par. Like if we look here and go to Serie D, this one season preview. Mestra's mid-table, Breno's bottom half. That's not great, and it seems like the top teams here have way more money. So I'll delay these two. Not opposed to them, but I definitely want one of the Algerian teams that got relegated. Oh, this is the one of the ones I applied to and didn't get. All right. Where are these? Tel Aviv is in Georgia. Or are they in? They're struggling in the top flight of Georgia, but I will definitely apply for them. And this other one is in Montenegro and not a great league. I'll apply for anyway. And we'll kind of see how it goes. I think I made a mistake going to the fourth division of Georgia as opposed to the Jordanian Premier League. However, I don't think it's an awful decision. I did get a title that's going to look at least decent on my resume. Got my National C license and experienced Georgia, which was honestly I kind of like it. I would be fine going back, but I would definitely prefer to go to a higher reputation league. This is in the second flight of Tunisia. Yes, they have not a ton of money. Their squad is very small, so I don't really want to go here. I'll interview them anyway. So what I'll probably do is I'll go forward, let's say, a month or so. I don't know. My U.S. application was unsuccessful. I'm shocked. I tell you, shocked that I didn't get the United States job. Who got it? Here, I don't want. Oh, the Inter Miami guy. Wait, the Inter Miami guy. Nice. Um, this is definitely interesting. Apparently, we want to stick with an Argentinian. We got him. Him managing Mexico, not particularly great, but successful coach. I'd take Gerardo Martino as the U.S. national team coach. But obviously, I like Poch. I don't think he's. We definitely need to do better in the summer than we did. Just going off a tangent here about U.S. soccer, I know I said I was going to go to the go ahead, but may as well get excited here about soccer. We need to do a lot better. I don't think we were particularly awful against Panama and Canada, given the fact we were setting players like Patrick Agamiang, I can't pronounce his name, who's was from East Hartford, which is pretty cool. and went to Eastern Connecticut, and then took a long route there. Very physical guy, but always kind of like one trick. Needs to develop some more of his skills, but I feel like he has good potential. But if we get like someone like Brian White up top, we get Berhalter back, we get Seb in the midfield, and Luna, we can definitely do a run at the Gold Cup and hopefully be prepared for the World Cup when it comes to that. I'd be very excited if I don't expect us to do particularly great. If we get, I would be quite happy if we, because top three teams, well, top two teams, and some of the best third teams get out of the group. I think, depending on their draw, like if we get Germany and Spain and teams like that, we're going to lose. We're not in a position where we can regularly beat those teams. We can sometimes contend. I mean, we drew England in the last World Cup. We probably should have won it. A couple of chances that just went off the post. But I feel we could do a job, probably play second in a group with a top team, maybe third if it's a particularly hard team. Like, say, it's, again, Germany and Turkey are in the same thing. That would be kind of rough for us. But we can definitely get to the knockouts, I think. If we don't, I'd be very disappointed. But get to the knockouts, get a nice draw, we might be able to win that. If we get to a quarterfinal, semifinal, I'll be extremely excited. I don't think we're going to do that well. We're definitely not going to win in the semifinal unless we get super lucky again. But honestly, we just need the team to play better together. I'll be back after a couple of interviews and once I actually choose the job, most likely. So I'll see you then. All right, so not a ton of time has passed. However, I've accepted a job at Union Sportive Madinat Cancella, who don't have a stadium loaded, unfortunately, but they play in the second division in Algeria, which of the leagues I've applied to, I believe has the highest reputation of all of them. Because there were two teams I applied to in Libya's first division, but they got relegated down to the second division in Libya, which is somewhere down here. Yeah, right here. Libya Division 1 is the second division in Libya. Quite bad. So instead, I get a team in the 13th best league in Algeria. Sorry, 13th best league in Africa that is projected to be in the bottom half, but they just got relegated, so they should have a couple good players in there, and they have a ton of money. So I've taken the job at and they have a good reputation. They're 1.5 stars at the Union Sportiva Madinat Cancella, which is way easier to pronounce than Chevrani Tbilisi. So I'm the new manager here, and they have a nice kit. It's very much Juventus style, and that gives me a new job. I don't think they're not supposed to be first. It just said first, but I don't think that's correct. And we're here. We will reach the second round. Confirm. What do they expect me to do? They do expect me to win the league, but I'm only expected to come 14th. Well, if I don't win the league, that'll be sad. I should hopefully. Yeah, I guess time to meet the squad. Let's see. All right, so it looks like we have a bunch of young players who won't amount to much. Not really anything notable here. I also have this one guy, Mr. Zakran Brahim. Ooh, this guy's actually not even just like in general, like not just for the division, but for a 15-year-old, this guy is good. Like, you'd be disappointed if you're Man City and this guy came through your youth intake. I expect he doesn't have high potential. But if for a 15-year-old, it's quite good. His potential is probably not great, but this guy can start in this league at 15, which is good enough for me. Do we have any players in the season? Do we have this man, Debbie, who is a pretty decent midfielder, can play in a lot of spots. Has made a cap for Algeria, which is quite something. and seems to be a good enough player for the top flight as well. So it looks like based on the team we have, given that we have 3 actual players, we will have probably want to have wingers. Our goalkeeper is one of our best players, which is good. He's solid. He would have started at Sheriff Tbilisi. He looks very good. Former, not Algerian international, but has played all over, mainly in Algeria, but a couple times in France. Seems to have been a top flight Algerian player for most of his career. Even playing in the second tier of Saudi Arabia. Yeah, the second tier of Saudi Arabia in the Yellow League. And oh, we're university. Wait, are we university? I probably should have checked that. It did not say that in my thing. Uh, no, it doesn't look like they're part of a university. They've been around for a while, founded in 1943. Seems to have a couple issues in the past, but they've been there for a couple years. They have decent sponsorships, it looks like. Apparently, they're bought by a telecom company. They're owned by a telecom company. But is that actually a can't sign players? Like if I just go players, any of them, the scouting's awful. But if I just like just give me Algeria, I'm not using any of that. Well, that's interesting. Um, Definitely will have to fix that if I only know one player. But yeah, I just want to check that. So if I go back to Saudi Arabia, doesn't matter which one. I want to say I want this man who are who are under 21 years old. Is that a rule in the league? Please tell me it's not. I'll be very disappointed. It doesn't say that I can only buy players under the age of 21. It doesn't say here that there's a restriction on that, but apparently there is. So I will need to work on that, figure out who I can actually sign. But if that's a restriction that applies to everyone, I'm not too worried about it. If everyone has the same restrictions, I'm perfectly fine dealing with that. If this is the only player I can sign, I probably need him. What's his name? Hashem Shibani. Shobani. What have I gotten myself into? Well, I'll sign him anyway. He seems to be about on par with the rest of the players. Yeah, sure. Here's some money. Never mind. That's I'll just buy him. I won't. Here, I have $5,000. And yeah, I want to go for a wing play. Probably 5 at the back is probably a good idea. So yeah, let's do that. I don't know who's gonna play striker. Someone. Yeah, to go registrations. Yeah, there's no restrictions here about them being restricted to that. We we shall see. I'll have to sign a lot more players. But if everyone's under the same restriction, we should be fine. Well, I'll go deal with the scouting things. We have enough money to buy players. I don't see any issues there. So I'll go deal with the players in the in-between episodes. But for now, that is all for today. Another short episode. I'm dealing just about done with some things. In about a week or two, I should be back to well, not in a week or two. As I said in the post, by after July 1st, I should be pretty much open and be able to do more consistent 2 to 3 to 4 episodes a week. And then after July 1st, it's going to go back to probably a bit more varied once I start grad school. Um, but for now, that is all. I'll try and fill a full team if possible with these restrictions. See you in episode 9 as we take on USM. Okay. And this challenge, which might be fun, we're in a very good league. We shall see. See you next episode.